Another 5 hidden, or not commonly known, Mercedes features Volume 5. It's been a ridiculous 3 whole years since I created the last video, part 4, and if you haven't done already, make sure you check out all previous 4 videos within the series. As I mentioned in all these videos, these are hidden, or not commonly known features. So yes, you yourself may be aware of some of these features, as well as most of these can indeed be found within the car's handbook. However, not everyone has the time or can even be bothered to flick through a 400 plus page booklet. Okay, so let's start this video with a feature which could be found on fairly modern Mercedes, the wiper blade service position. When washing your car, you'll want to access the entire window, including under the windscreen washer blades, or if you actually want to swap and replace the windscreen washer blades. By default, you're not able to do this, as attempting to lift the wiper blades away from the car's windscreen, they'll fall foul of the top of the car's bonnet or hood, and actually make contact. Mercedes have thought of this. Enter the car and make sure that it's switched off. Switch on the ignition, but not the engine. And for keyless go cars, such as this one, press the engine start button without your foot on the pedal to get the ignition on. Now press the wiper button once, and then again the second time holding it down. After a few seconds or so, the wipers will move up to the upright service position, allowing you to fully clean the window glass or easily swap and replace the window wiper without any damage to the car's bodywork. Just to note, this can be actioned with the door shut as well as with the door open. Own a Mercedes which was built after 2011, then you may well have noticed that there's a QR code located within the fuel door. What's this for? Well, it's known as a rescue card, as written below the code. What exactly is it, however? Grab your phone and scan the code. Once scanned, it will take you to a unique address for the model of car which you own. Now this page has been specifically designed for the emergency services. Should the worst happen, you're involved in a car accident, and say there may be some occupants trapped within the car, this page gives the fire service a detailed schematic of all the hazardous areas within the car, such as a battery location and all the airbag locations. Or, with more modern versions of cars, the hybrid system with the high voltage cabling and powertrain batteries. Should the emergency services also need to use their jaws of life cutting tools, this page is extremely useful for them to know where it's safe for them to cut to avoid any major cabling or any airbags, etc. Mercedes ditched the manual transmissions from all of their models until fairly recently. Even the humble A-Class, which I'm driving here, can no longer be spec'd with one. And for those wanting a more sporty drive, you can always use the paddle shifters or flappy paddles which are located on the rear of the steering wheel. Now these change the car into a somewhat quasi-manual mode, however in this mode it will still automatically switch the car back into a normal auto mode as soon as it detects that you're trying to rev the engine too high. There is another option, an almost permanent manual mode which can be selected. Press the dynamic switch on the centre dashboard to engage the transmission select menu. You will now be presented with the standard array of shift options. Highlight but don't select the individual mode, and you'll notice at the bottom left of the screen there is a gear icon. Select this. You can now change your personal custom settings for drive, steering and stability programs. Select the drive option. Within this new sub-menu, scroll down to the very bottom and select the manual option. Now back out of all the screens until you're in the home screen. Now your car will be in the manual gearbox mode, as indicated at the bottom right of the screen with an M icon. The car will now remain in M for manual mode until you manually change it yourself. It will no longer automatically change when you rev the engine high, it will remain in manual. It'll even display an upshift indicator telling you when it thinks you should be shifting up to a higher gear or down to a lower gear. Now you will of course need to select this from the dynamic gearbox switch on the dashboard each time you switch the car on, but this is as close you're going to get to a manual gearbox in your modern Mercedes. For some unknown reason, modern Mercedes, for example those built after 2020, by default have an extremely late threshold for activating the audible alert with the parking sensors. Although you can see the coloured indicators displayed on the screen, you'll not hear anything until you're virtually hitting the obstacle in your way, greatly increasing the chance that you'll hit something unseen. Thankfully however, there is a setting to warn you early and increase the sensitivity, but it's not that obvious where you find this. Navigate to the home screen and then to the assistant top bar. Click on this menu and select the camera and parking option. Now at the top you should see the option warn early all around option. Click on this to select it. The blue bar will appear to the right to confirm it's been selected. Why on earth this isn't the default option for the car, we'll never know. Whilst in this menu, there are various other options and settings you can adjust, including the Open Camera Cover option at the bottom, should you ever need to clean the camera lens. With the Warn Early option selected, it will make an audible beep as soon as the radars detect any object, vastly reducing the likelihood that you'll hit something unseen like a curb for example. The difference is plain to see. With the option selected, it will warn you in just under a metre from the object, whereas the standard default setting is as little as 30 centimetres from the object. So, ending the video on a fairly simple one, as per all the previous volumes in this series. On more modern Mercedes models, you'll have this little volume roller located on the top of the centre console. Pretty obviously, as you all know, scrolling it downwards decreases the volume and upwards increases it. Fairly simple and nothing special about this function. Did you know however, if you actually press the button down, it actually mutes the current music which is playing. Now of course you have a mute button on your steering wheel to do the same, but it is a convenient feature to have while your hand is down controlling the volume of the music anyway, as a nice little shortcut. Another added little bonus about this button, if you're on a radio screen, actually holding this button down rather than just pressing it, toggles the annoying, and dare I say it's pretty useless in nowadays, TA traffic announcement feature. Simply press it down for a few seconds to either enable or disable this feature, noted by the little TA icon at the top of the screen. So that wraps up volume 5 of my hidden or not commonly known Mercedes features. Before angrily heading to the comment section below and informing me that these aren't hidden at all, as I said at the beginning of this video, it's hidden or not commonly known. Some of you may know these features, but most will not. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's free and does help the channel out. And also, if you haven't done already, consider clicking on that subscribe button with the bell icon so you're notified as soon as I upload any new videos and content. As always, thanks a lot for your support and watching the video. Until next time, cheers.